Anything?
Yeah, you can watch it back. It's fine because you got your writing number, so I don't care about showing the software.
Right.
When it comes, well, I care about showing the software. Let me rephrase that. You got me on record. So, but anyway, I'm going to go through a quick PowerPoint presentation about what it is, and maybe it'll clarify some of the things you heard on YouTube or social media. Maybe they have it wrong because a lot of people think infinite banking is utilizing an indexed universal life policy, and it's not being used that way. It's being talked about that way, but it's not realistically the correct way. So
Got it.
let's go into this. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Well, it says it's okay. Now I can see
there
it.
you go. If you want to learn more about infinite banking, it's much easier to get it from the guy that created it than from social media. So if you want to get the book from the creator, his name is Nelson Nash, and the book's called Becoming Your Own Banker. If you want to expedite that, then just go on YouTube and just type in his name, Nelson Nash, infinite banking, and then learn from the guy that created it, or anyone else that was trained under the Nelson Nash Institute. Those kind of guys. Just get the foundation first, and then you can start listening to other people, because you're not going to go to a foot doctor when you have heart problems, right? So you might as well start listening to people that actually create things instead of, minutia. So understand, infinite banking is not a product. There's no infinite banking product you just buy off the shelf. And it's not an investment, because an investment classifies risk, and there's no risk in this concept. It's just a process. And it's the same process has been going on for 200 years. You're just going along with dividend paying whole life insurance policies that are issued from mutually owned insurance companies, not stock owned companies. But it has to be mutual companies that have been around over 100 plus years and never once missing a dividend payment ever. Through any recession you can think of, you got one. Now, if you don't know what a dividend is, when you put premium or monies and you give it to a mutually owned company, you become an owner of the company, meaning you participate in the profit shares in the form of a dividend. Now, a dividend by definition is just a return of your own premium. Now, I don't care how they classify it. If it's tax-free, I'll just take it and I'll look the other way. The difference with stock companies is they answer to shareholders for profit. So while you and I get all the ups and the downs in our 401ks, IRAs, brokerage accounts, who still gets the fat bonus checks? The board members, CEOs. I don't want to give them any more of my money. I'll just give my money to people that I kind of have control of and have a piece of business. Now, you might have seen these people: Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, and McDonald's, J.C. Penney, George Christopher, a Pampered Chef, Rockefellers of the day, and presidents. These people have been utilizing the banking concept for 200 years, and they've been doing it through whole life. Walt Disney used his cash value in his whole life policy to build Disneyland. Ray Kroc and McDonald's used whole life to go ahead and borrow money from the cash value to pay his employees to work in a recession, to keep McDonald's afloat. And the list goes on and on. Now, have you ever heard this term called BOLI, bank-owned life insurance? Have you heard of those before? BOLI?
Yep.
Corporations, COLI. So understand, a bank can't own a life insurance policy. They need a body to insure. So the bank puts life insurance on their vice presidents, their key executives, and the bank pays those premiums. And as they pay the premiums, they build cash value in the account that overfunds it. And the bank has access to borrow that money from that employee's policy tax-free to go buy the biggest, tallest buildings in every major city. And also, when the executive passes away, the bank reclaims the majority stake of that death benefit on their balance sheets tax-free. Now, you can go on FDIC.gov if you want to, and you can go ahead and look at all these major banks out there, and you'll find that 13 to 37% of these banks put their money inside of whole life cash value policies. Now, I didn't say variable universal or universal or indexed universal. because they don't want to put their money at risk of speculation or hypothetical or losses. Okay. And in order for a bank to have what's called tier 1 capital rating from the Federal Reserve, they have to have a certain amount of their money on reserves for guarantees. And the only place you get guarantees nowadays is in whole life cash value policies. So if the banks are putting their money there, why don't we? Simple math. Now, if you don't know how banks make money, you're going to find out. Banks don't have money. Banks wait for you and I to make deposits. And now when we make deposits, they have our money. They can now go lend our money out to other people who want to buy a home, car, remodel, pay off high credit card debts like I did. And then they can charge us an interest rate. And they get the spread. And that's why banks are making 500 to 1,300% on the back sweat and labor of us doing absolutely nothing, but giving us less than 1% of guarantees in our savings account. That's pretty nice of them, right? Now, the difference is, let's just educate people how to become their own bank and do the same exact policies the banks do. Now, we don't have billions of dollars, but if we have hundreds or thousands, we got to start. And as we build cash in our policy, we can borrow it just like a bank, and we can use it to pay off credit card debts like I did. And now we get the spread for our family. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
So now understand, you and I are one of these two people. You're either the financer, where you go down to the dealership, you go get your car for 5 years. Who do you pay that payment to? The dealership, the bank?
Yeah.
And now at the end of 5 years, you got your car, it's fully paid off, you got 100,000 miles, you missed that nice leather smell. Those crumbs are creeping up the crevice of your seat. And now you're like, I got to get a new car, done with this. So you do it over and over and over again. Keep borrowing money from these banks and dealerships and keep giving them money back and getting nothing in return. I can be like my dad. He taught me to be a saver. You save your money, Scott. And now when you have enough money, guess what? You don't have to worry about a payment. Just pay cash. But my dad was wrong. You do have a payment. It may not be back to a dealership or a bank, but I got to replenish the money in my savings account I just spent. That can take me a few more years to accumulate $35,000, $50,000. So then I lose the opportunity cost that my money could have been earning somewhere else. So you're either going to save your money and spend it, borrow from other people and give it right back and get nothing in return, or you can learn what corporations, banks, and super wealthy people understand. They understand how these policies work. They know they can put premiums into these policies and overfund them, let it grow and accumulate uninterrupted, and then borrow money from the policy tax-free to go buy their buildings, their banks, their real estate, their cars, anything you want, and make the payment schedule whenever they want to. But at the same time, their money grows as if it never touched or left tax-free. So I use a car because people have to drive. Let's make believe this Jeep was $35,000, 6% interest rate, which you'd be lucky enough to get in today's environment. That's your payment. At the end of 5 years, that car is going to cost you an extra $5,600 extra dollars. And now you got a depreciating asset, nothing in return, and you got to do this all over again. Or you can get a specially designed and engineered whole life policy that I know how to design, that Alex is going to know how to design. Or maybe you don't have a lump sum. Maybe you don't have a lump sum of like 40,000, 50,000. Just go throw in at one time and then borrow again right out within 30 days, tax-free like I did. Maybe you got to build it. Maybe this 30-year-old, as an example, the age is irrelevant. Could be 15, well, could be 20, 30, 40, it doesn't make a difference. But take this 30-year-old, takes $10,000 away from Bank of America's savings account, moves it right into this policy, and then pays $500 a month as if this is her new savings account. And now after 5 years, the money's grew and grow and grow. And now she's got $37,000 that she can borrow. So now she's ready to go get her car. Now she borrows the money for $35,000, and she doesn't borrow her money. She's asking the insurance company to lend them their money. At the same time, the insurance company will lend them $35,000. The $37,000 is going to sit there and grow and compound uninterrupted every single year for the next 5 years. Okay. So now you are going to pay $676 anyway to a dealership, or you're going to pay $676 right back to your savings account because you spent your cash to replenish. Now we just educate everyone to take the same payment and pay it right back to the insurance company And at the end of 5 years, you got no more payment with the insurance company, but your 35,000 has been growing every year. And now you made a $4,000 profit for borrowing money from the insurance company, and your money wasn't even touched. So that's how you become a bank. You can do lifetime income stream with whole life, just like UL policies. This is a very important slide for people that don't understand nowadays what 401ks were built for. They weren't built for us. They were built for corporations to get write-offs. Back in 2009, Time Magazine did an article how 401ks are a joke. And when you put money into a 401k, as soon as you put $1 in, you're now locking yourself to the government shackles, because any money you take out prior to age 59.5, you got to pay a 10% penalty plus ordinary income tax. So congratulations, you locked yourself in. Also, when you give money in every 2 weeks from your paycheck, you don't even control it. Wall Street has your money now to play. So now you don't even control it. So my opinion is I'd rather pay taxes on little seeds today instead of the big harvest later on. And now I control the asset. I don't care about them matching me 3, 5, 10%. People think it's free money. It ain't free money when you're down 30% in the market, right? And you don't even use it. You're not even using it. So it all comes down to these two slides. Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? And when you understand how compounding interest works, at the 30th day, you got $5.3 million because you waited and let it grow and grow and grow. If you understand how compounding interest works, you'll earn it, like Albert Einstein talked about. If you don't, you just keep paying it to everyone else. Credit card companies, lenders, banks, everything. That's my Cliff Notes version. All right, maybe 14 minutes. I went over.
Awesome.
Is that the part you wanted me to record, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.